developments in the manhunt for suspected terrorists connected to the November attacks in Paris. Just days after capturing Salah Abdeslam, who was at large for 4 months, Belgian authorities have identified a possible accomplice, and they're asking the public's help finding him. Here with the details is WSJ's European security reporter, Julian Barnes in Brussels. Thanks for joining us, Julian.
Thanks for having me.
A press conference just wrapped up, and we're learning more about this new suspect. Who is he, and what are authorities saying about his involvement?
Yeah, his name is Najim Laachraoui, and he is he's been an accomplice of Salah Abdeslam. He has been involved in this network that was shuttling foreign fighters from Belgium to Syria. He himself is from a district in Brussels, but in 2013 he went to Syria. The mastermind of the Paris attacks, Aboud, was sending Belgians from Brussels to Syria, and Najim was there getting them in Syria and helping them get training. So he was part of this flow of fighters back and forth. He returned to Europe, where he met with Salah Abdeslam and was purportedly involved in the planning of the Paris attacks.
And what we just learned is that his fingerprints have been found in some of these hideouts that are connected to the other suspected attacker. We don't yet know if his DNA was actually found on the explosives in Paris, but what are authorities looking into in terms of his involvement?
Well, he does seem to be heavily involved in the logistics of putting together this strike. At least that's the working theory. Okay. You know, one of the hideouts where his DNA was found was an apartment in the Scarbeck neighborhood of Brussels. And this is where the suicide vests were assembled before the Paris attacks. It's also one of the hideouts they believe maybe Salah Abdeslam used for his 4 months on the run after the attacks. And so they found Najim's DNA there, and so that's raising questions about how, his exact role.
Right, and back to Abdeslam. He's been charged with committing terrorist murders, and he faces extradition to France. While that judicial process plays out, investigators continue to collect new clues and evidence about his roles in the attacks. It looks like he wasn't just one of the bombers. He wasn't just there dropping people off. What have we learned from some of these new details?
Well, we've learned two things. One, we know that he played a key role in the logistics of this with these other Syrian-trained fighters. We know that he was helping bring these Syrian-trained fighters back from Syria to Europe ahead of this attack. He was shuttling, providing fake IDs to a number of people, bringing them from Hungary back to Brussels. So he was then involved in the planning of the attacks. He was supposed to be one of the attackers carrying out the attacks, but his lawyer says he backed out prior to that and then went on the run and eluded authorities for 4 months. Now, there were reports over the weekend by the Belgian foreign minister that he has told authorities he was planning more attacks. They found a number of weapons in the raids connected with his arrest, and so there was a fear that he was planning another attack.
All right, Julian Barnes joining us via Skype. Thank you so much for the updates, and we will continue to follow the story.